Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming at you another video. All right, Noah Lyles. People are saying he's right because USA did not win gold. They lost today to, I believe it was Germany, for the championship qualifier. We're going to see Serbia versus Germany going for the gold. And I believe you're going to see USA versus, I don't know who it is. I don't know. I'm not following it closely enough, but that's not the point. Everybody's saying Noah Lyles is on point for saying that American basketball, USA, NBA, the NBA is an American-only sport. Therefore, they don't have a right to be called world champions. That's essentially what my man is saying there. I don't know that he's right at all, even though I would have made the argument that he was some time ago, because I kind of saw it the same way. It's like, yo, we're only representing our states. That's it, with the exception of Canada's Toronto team. That's the only thing the NBA is representing, but that's not what makes up the NBA. If it were only American players playing in the NBA, what he would be saying has more credence. But the reality is, the top 5 players in the league right now are not American players. So the product on the floor, regardless of what teams are being represented, is not an American product per se. It's a blended product of everyone who plays from all over the world at the highest level. So that would make you, by way of that understanding, okay for calling yourself world champion for winning a championship in that arena for which everyone from all over the world plays together. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people are not looking at it that way, or maybe Noah Lyles isn't looking at it that way because he sees all of these different cities and states represented, plus the people who are coming to see these teams are American people in a great deal of cases, obviously. So it's like it's an American sport. But that's not who's on the floor, fam. Now, if this was in 1955 when there weren't no international players, what he's saying holds all the relevance because it's exclusive to the North American area. That's it. So you can't call yourself world champions because you're playing against nothing but Americans. Get some international talent down there and then we could talk. Well, guess what? We got a bunch of international talent down there, so we can talk. And that's what it's about. If you can get out of your mind LA, New York, Houston, Chicago, and all these different cities that are represented by the teams, then you could say, okay, you know what I mean? We understand it clearly. This is a world championship because it's a bunch of world representatives fighting for said championship. So that's the key to all of this. It's confusing for some, but that's the crux of it. Jokic, Doncic, Embiid, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, obviously Wembanyama. None of these people are American, bro. None of them. These are your best players. None of them are American. So when you consider that, take off the LA, New York, Houston, and just call it Team A, Team B, Team C, and Team D. Make it so that these games are being played all over the world, Paris and New York, everywhere. Africa, if you put these same teams, have them play everywhere, then Noah Lyles would suddenly say it's a world championship. But there is actually no difference because these are the teams that we have, and they're made up of a bunch of people from all over the world. Now, is it predominantly U.S. players? I believe it's still predominantly a U.S. sport. But again, the guys who are making the most money, they ain't American. Luka Doncic is set to make $80 million with his next contract at the final year of that next contract if he's able to meet some criteria. I think it's if he's an all NBA player next year, he can qualify for that contract. That would be the highest paid, that would be the highest contract the NBA's ever given to anyone. So how can we say it's a USA exclusive league if the guy who's going to make the most money ain't even American? He ain't bringing that back to American people. He's bringing it back to his Serbian folks. So at what point in time do we ask Noah Lyles to acknowledge that? You know what I'm saying? And so that's my thing. Now, here's something that would be interesting. I'd ask Noah Lyles this. If we did take all of these teams, make them Team A, Team B, Team C, and Team D, and then have them play in Paris and Africa and China and all these different places, but they only had American basketball players, would he still consider it a world championship then? If we had only American basketball players playing all over the world in various cities and never let any of those team names have anything to do with the U.S., would it be a world championship then? And by his definition, it probably would be. And he would be dead ass wrong. So that's the logic that I think is being avoided in regards to this, and that's why he ultimately, in my opinion, doesn't have it right. Again, I had that same mentality in the past, but then again, back when I had that mentality, you know who was running the league? KD, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan. You see what I'm saying? When the team was predominantly U.S. based, when everybody who played was American, and the only international guys you saw was Dirk and guys like that. But that's not the league we have right now. The best players in this league are predominantly from elsewhere. And the only thing that makes this American is the fact that the teams are represented in America, for which they can move anytime. The Vancouver Grizzlies turn into the Memphis Grizzlies. You see what I'm saying? They can move anytime. If you want to take all these teams and move them to Mexico, suddenly we got a Mexican league? No. What you have is teams being moved to Mexico. That doesn't mean that you actually have a Mexican league. So that's the logic, man. That is the logic. But nevertheless, U.S. did not get gold. I didn't watch, man. I tell you the truth, I just don't care too much for USA basketball as it pertains to, I'm a real NBA diehard, and I don't share the enthusiasm for playing in the off season. That's what it really comes down to. It's not exclusive to them doing what it is that they do, specifically to win gold or whatever. I'm not against anybody doing anything in that way. It's just, for me, it's like, I want to make sure my guy Austin Reeves doesn't suffer no injuries that could keep him out of my season, because that's what I care about. I'm a Laker fan. He's one of my most important players. So if he's playing in the off season, he risking injury. I don't want to support that. That's what it really comes down to. I'm just weird like that. I don't want to watch it, because if he goes down with an injury, I'm going to pull my hair out. You see what I'm saying? And I'm going to be angry at him for going over there. So I'd rather just not see it. See, I'm the guy who was watching the Paul George injury live. I saw it live. I watched his knee and his leg snap in half, and that was when I was done with all USA basketball. Don't send none of my Lakers over there. You could send every other team, send some Grizzlies over there, send some Knicks over there, send some Suns over there. I don't care what you do with none of them other teams. When it comes to these Lakers, I don't want none of my players risking any offseason injuries. You know, I didn't talk to you guys about Trey Murphy, but Trey Murphy, the third, one of my very favorite basketball players right now, plays for the New Orleans Pelicans. Trigger has a meniscus injury. Now he had to have surgery. He's going to be out for 10 to 12 weeks. Now, of course, that'll bring him back somewhat through the season. He'll come back in this season. But the point was, here goes some more off-season activity causing time away from the season. I don't like it. Now, that doesn't mean he wasn't supposed to work out. Of course, he has to work out. He has to keep his conditioning up. But the point is, anytime guys are doing anything in the offseason that risks them getting injured, I am going to have a problem with it as a diehard Laker fan, selfish to my own nature, wanting my team to win a championship and wanting all my pieces to be 100% healthy. I don't care for anything that's going to pull them away from that. And that's exactly how I look at it. So, for me, I only had half an eye on all that stuff because I cringe when I think a guy's possibly getting hurt. I don't want to see it. And that Paul George injury did it for me. That did it for me. I don't think I've watched a full USA basketball game since. You know, and I feel the same way about the Canada as it pertains to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and some of the players over there, Dort and some of those guys. Luka and Serbia, his Serbian team. I don't want none of them dudes over there. Let the non-NBA guys fight for the gold is my attitude. So the guys who are making hundreds of millions of dollars to help win championships for our teams don't risk their careers and their livelihoods trying to go after something that only represents the country and ain't gonna make them no money and all that other stuff. So maybe that's just me. That's how I feel about it. And I don't think I got the right stuff rolling around in my head. I ain't saying people should think like me. I'm not trying to get anybody on my bandwagon with that. That's just how I feel. I don't want nobody getting hurt, and that crap can get them hurt. So I ain't supporting it. But that's pretty much how I feel about that, man. At the end of the day, I just want to touch in on the Noah Lyles conversation because I know a lot of people are really co-signing what he's saying. And like I said, I wouldn't have been no better if this was 8 years ago. I would have said the exact same thing. I just grew up, learned a little better, see it clearly, and now come to you guys with truth. And so that's what it is. BDL 44. I thank you all for watching. Out.